Okay, so we're going to now look at the food, energy content of food. Right, so this is an experiment and it's good to know the details on this one. Okay, so what you do is, this will be interesting. You have just say a peanut here. What you do is you get a needle, attached to a stick, and you attach it to the end, or you put the peanut onto the end of the needle. So now you've got somewhere to hold that. So now what I'm going to draw is a test tube, a thermometer and a stand. So let's get this right. You have a test tube, you have a thermometer, the world's greatest drawing, and you have some water in here. So all this is water, and then you hold it with a clamp, there you go, that's how you start. So let's get this right. Right, first of all, weigh the food, or in this case the peanut, on a balance. Then we add just say a certain amount, so in this case we'll just say 20 centimeter cubed of water in the test tube. In test tube. Then you measure the start temperature. Oops, we don't want that. You measure the start temperature, of the water. Right, now the next step, we've got to do it in order. You light a fire, set the food alight. Right, so you can use a Bunsen burner for that. Light the peanut or the food and place it close to the water we're going to heat, to the test tube. It's important you place it close and immediately, so any energy is focused on heating the water. Right, next you need to, if it goes out, you can relight the food, or the peanut in this case. You use a Bunsen burner to relight it until it's all gone, and heat the water until the food is completely burnt. So its food is all burnt or burned, whichever word you want to use, that's fine. Now what you do is you get the thermometer and you take the final maximum reading of water temperature. So you're measuring the temperature of the water. So this is the first step. So you've included details of the, let me get this right, you've included details of the apparatus and experiment and any precautions. There's other precautions you can take. So for example, when you read the final reading of the thermometer, make sure there's no parallax error. Okay, right now, so what we do is we use a formula where you can work out the energy that's been used. So it's the final temperature minus the initial or start temperature divided by, let's keep going. Right, so that's the first part. So you multiply that by the mass of the water in grams and the specific heat capacity. So that's the value of C. So we'll call it C. That is called the specific, let's write this down, specific heat capacity. That is C, and you'll be given that. And then we divide it by the mass of food. So let me get this right. That there is the mass of the water. So an example might be, I started at 21 degrees. My final temperature was 43 degrees. I used 20 grams or 20 centimeter cubed of water, which is 20 grams. And my specific heat capacity of the water is always 4.2. That's the number we're going to use. And when I measured the mass, or when I weighed the food or the peanut, it was 0.55 grams. When I've done all that, my answer is going to be 3,360 joules. Right, and sometimes they round it off to 2 sig fig or ask you to round it off, so it'll be that many joules. You might also, careful with this, have to write it in kilojoules, but it depends. It just totally depends on what they ask. Okay, that's how you measure the energy content of food.